Do you ever come across a genealogy research problem that makes your head spin or makes you want to pull your hair out? Happens to me all the time. Well, a viewer sent us a suggestion of a problem she's having, and we're going to begin a journey on how to puzzle it out. Howdy, I'm Devin Noel Lee with Family History Fanatics, and although we are not researchers for hire, we love when we come across case studies that can help all of us learn together and to map out what we know, what we don't know, and anything else that is essential to helping us solve our case. To begin working on Jamie's case, we're going to peer review and use ClueWebs. Both of those videos have already been released on Family History Fanatics. If you've missed them, check out the info cards and the descriptions below. The principle of reviewing what others have done will help me to help Jamie solve her case. The first step is to assess what you know and add that to a ClueWeb. So Jamie had begun researching her great-grandfather, G. Winfield Underwood. She knew that this was her great-grandfather based on records she found for her grandfather in talking to living relatives. So we have G. Winfield Underwood, and he is married to Rhoda Kelly. He has several children, 3 of which happen to be these 3. We also know that he died in Grayson County, Texas, but he was born in Kentucky. So far, so good. Now the question becomes, what do we not know? Jamie doesn't know what the G stands for her great-grandfather. The other question she has is, who are the parents of Winfield? Now that we have mapped out everything that Jamie knows and Jamie doesn't know, we're going to hop to Family Search because that's where Jamie built her tree and began running into problems. On the person page, we're going to ignore the hints and the data entry errors that are on the right. We're only going to focus on the information on this collaborative tree. We're going to do a different type of peer review that I suggested in the video I mentioned earlier. This one actually has you look at the information people have attached to your ancestors and try to make a case of what's correct and what is incorrect. Okay, the first clue that we have is that there are parents attached in the Family Search family tree to Winfield. Notice that you can see Hiram Winfield and Eliza Jane Martin. This is a clue, but I cannot figure out what it is based on. So how are we going to figure out what this is based on? Well, we need birth records for Winfield, a marriage record for Winfield that identifies his parents, and then a death record for Winfield that again identifies his parents. So far, all we see is that someone thinks that Hiram and Eliza Jane Martin are his parents. So that's a clue, but hasn't made the case. Does that make sense? The next clue we have is a record to a birth index. We will talk about the value of birth index in a future video, but the clues we see right now is that the father's name is Hiram and the mother's name is Gaddy. Gaddy. Okay. Do we have the wrong birth record with Winfield or the wrong parents with Winfield? I'm not really sure. Could Eliza Jane Martin have previously been known as Elijah Gaddy? It's possible. Now we have confusion and no resolution. Again, this is a birth index and we have no idea what the name of the mother is. So we will just add that as another clue. The third clue we find is a death record for Winfield. It lists his father as Hiram once again, but this time his mother's name is Eliza Jane Gaddy and the name is spelled differently. In a future video, we'll talk about how to analyze a death record to find out if that has misinformation on it. So now we have another potential set of parents. We can't accurately say that Eliza Jane Gaddy is the Gaddy of the birth record, and we can't accurately say that Eliza Jane Gaddy is Eliza Jane Martin. You see how Jamie got confused? Boy, I do. So let's go back to the clue web and add those clues into Jamie's problem. But before we do that, let's take a break and hear a word from our sponsor. Before we wrap up this video, we want to say thank you to our sponsors, Medicare Supplements Plus. They have been in business for over 20 years, and guess what? Chet is a genealogist who's traced his family lines back to Poland. So when you give him a call, not only can Ted and Chet at Medicare Supplements Plus help you with your Medicare plans, you might also discover that they are your cousin. Now we're going to go back to our clue web and add the clues for potential parents that we've discovered. One of the records that we discovered was a birth index, and it identified a set of parents and gave us the birth date and place for Winfield. Another record we had was not really a record, it was a suggestion. Someone in Family Search attached Hiram and Elijah Jane Martin to Winfield Underwood. It's a clue. It's not really based on a source, so we can't attach a source to this clue. And the last clue we can add is the parents that were listed on Hiram's death record. So that clue supports the death date. The first clue that we added to this tree supports the birth date, and the third clue isn't really backed up by anything. Now, wait a minute. We need to go back to Family Search because I found another clue that we're going to have to resolve if we're going to make this tree make sense. So take a peek at this section right here. We can see that there's an additional wife attached to Winfield. And her name, yay, is Mrs. Winfield Underwood. But they have a child named Bertie. Oh dear, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to go back to our clue web. That's what we're going to do. So on our clue web, we put that there's a clue that maybe Winfield had another spouse, or perhaps Mrs. Winfield Underwood is actually Rhoda Kelly, but whoever created this profile didn't know her name at the time because they wanted to add Bertie to the family tree. Now, interestingly enough, Rhoda has a daughter named Bertie, so we're going to have to talk about the two Berties in a future video. Yeah, research over my shoulder is going to be around for a while. So are you confused yet? Have you figured out who the parents might be, and what are we going to do about that G? What does it stand for? And does he have a second wife and additional child, or two children named Bertie? Oh my goodness, we have a lot to try to figure out, and I can understand Jamie's confusion. But many of you are going to say, why do you even care about Bertie? You really should focus on Hiram's parents. Well, when you research a tree, you really need to research everybody to make sure you're going in the right direction, because sometimes the clue to who Winfield's parents are is hidden in the children. So we really do need to examine all of the clues that we discovered today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Research Over My Shoulder. In the next installment, we're going to talk about the records that suggest what the G in Winfield stands for to see if we can figure out what it might be or if we have more research to do. Stay tuned. If you like this video, be sure to press the red thumbs up so that this video will reach more viewers. And finally, connect with us on Twitter and Facebook. Twitter at FH Fanatics or Facebook Family History Fanatics.